Hello student, today in this lecture we are going to start with our next topic, but before that let's take a quick review about what we have learned previously. As you can see here, we have seen about food chain, how food chain goes on continuously, how this cycle goes on continuously. With the help of sun and water, plants prepare their own food, then these plants are eaten by some small animals, some insect or animals like grasshopper. Then these grasshopper is a food for the some small animals like this frog and many more. So these frog eat this grasshopper, then this frog is again food for this snake. This snake eat these frogs, then this snake is the food for eagle or vultures. And then after the death of these animals, these top animals, these eagles and vultures, these are the top animals, no one eats them, so that's why they are called as the top animals. They are kept in top category now. But after the death of these animals, their dead body get decomposed by microorganism. As you can see here, some microorganism, bacteria, fungus are you can see here. So they decompose them, and then after the decomposition, these microorganisms turn the complex body structure into simple carbon compounds, and then those simple carbon compounds get mixed into the soil. So get mixed into the soil, water and air. So from the soil, water and air, these plants again get back this energy. So this is how this continuous cycle goes on continuously. Now I hope so you are clear with the food chain. Now let us see what is food web. Now what is food web? As you know that an organism can be a prey for many other organism. Prey means the animal which is eaten by some animal, that is called as prey, and the predator is the one who hunts the animal for their food. Now an insect can be food for many organisms. Many animals are food for different other animals. As you can see here in this figure, various living organisms you can see. So now an insect can be a food for many animals, as it's given here for different animals like frog, wall lizard or bird. So these are the various, and also many more included. So these are the animals which eat small insects. So here, and also if you see in this figure, if we match this, which animal is dependent on which, what is the food of this animal, this animal. So here we get a really intricate design instead of a food chain. In previously when we saw food chain, you can clearly see a cycle one after the other, but if you will see here, it is really when it is matched, if you match this, which animal eat which, what is the food for one animal, then you can get, it is really complex. For example, as you can see here, these are the plants, grasses. These grasses are eaten by rabbit also, this is eaten by this grasshopper also, and this black bug also. And grasses and plants are food for many other animals too. For example, if you can see, plants or the fruit of plants are eaten by a monkey, or you can see here squirrel. They also depend on the food which we get from plants. So these are the animals which uses plants, and also plants or grasses are eaten by zebra also. Now these, if you will see, then on next level, these plant eating animals, they are the food for other animals, other big animals. For example, they are eaten by these bird, squirrel, they are eaten by fox, tiger or lion, zebra, black bug. These are all the food for tiger, lion, these top animals. So this creates a really complex structure. This is nothing but, this is called as food web. As one animal is the food for many other animals. So this is the concept of food web. So this is how food web is described. Now next topic we are going to study is the energy pyramid. Now in this energy pyramid we are first going to see the trophic levels. What are the trophic levels? As you can see in this is a pyramid. In this pyramid, each box, if you'll see here, is called as the level. This is the first level, this is the second level, this is the third level, and this is the last and the top highest level. As you can see here, here it is written as trophic level 1, second trophic level, and the third trophic level. So this is the level of this pyramid. Each stage is called as the level. Here at the very lowest level, plants are kept. Why plants are kept? We have learned this earlier also. I have explained you that on the basis of the food intake, on the basis of the pattern of the food intake of organism, they are basically classified into categories, into some categories. We have learned in previous lecture only that plants are the producers, then come primary consumers, then secondary consumers, then comes the top level consumers, then after that comes the omnivores. So these were the categories. Now here plants are kept in the lowest level because they are the producer. Why they are called as producer? They are called as producer because they prepare their own food. They do not depend on any other organism for their food. That's why they are called as producer, and they are kept at the lowest level. Now at the first trophic level, herbivores are kept. What are herbivores? In yesterday's lecture also I have explained you what are herbivores. Herbivores are the animals which depend on plants for their food. They eat plants only for their food, for their nutrition. Those animals are called as herbivores animals. They are kept at the first trophic level in this pyramid. Then carnivores. On the second trophic level are the carnivores. Carnivores are the animals which depend on other animals for their food. They eat other animals for their food. They are called as carnivores animals. So they are kept at second trophic level. Now the third trophic level, the highest, the top level of trophic level, omnivores are kept. What are omnivores? Omnivores are the one which can depend on both plants and animals for their food. Yesterday we have learned this in detail. Hope you might have remembered. So omnivores are the one which can feed on both plants as well as animals. So as you can see, as the level of the pyramid, this trophic level increases. We will call this as a trophic level. Trophic level increases. The energy from as we have already learned about how the food chain goes on. Plants are eaten by grasshopper, then grasshopper is eaten by frog, then frog is eaten by snake. So this is how the energy goes from one organism to other organism. The energy which plants have, now it is being transferred to the grasshopper, then grasshopper is eaten by frog, so the energy of the grasshopper is transferred to frog. So this is how the energy goes on, passing from one organism to other organism. So this is how the energy passes from one organism to other. So as you know how energy passes, so according to that, from plants it passes to herbivores animals, then from herbivores it passes to the carnivores animals, and then it passes to omnivores. So as the energy keeps passing from one to other organism, the energy goes on decreasing. As the level get increased, the energy goes on decreasing. At the here the energy will be higher, then here it will be little low, then here at this level, second trophic level, it will be more low, then here it will be least. So as the level goes increasing, the energy goes decreasing. So this is the concept of trophic level. Hope you have understood. Now let's move forward to our next topic. Now here we are going to see the pyramid of energy. Now this is also the same pyramid as we have seen before, the trophic level. That was trophic level. This is pyramid of energy, but it in different ecosystem. Here ecosystem is taken of aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic means related to water. So their ecosystem is taken. In this ecosystem, what is the pyramid of energy? As you can see in this pyramid of energy, here animals are kept based on the aquatic ecosystem. So at the very first level, it is in spite of these, ecosystem has been changed. That was of a different ecosystem. This is of aquatic ecosystem, but the concept of the pyramid, the concept of the energy pyramid remain the same. Now at the very lowest level, phytoplanktons are kept. What are phytoplanktons? Phytoplanktons are some water plants. Water plants are called as phytoplanktons. Then next there are zooplanktons. Zooplanktons are some animals. These include some animals. Then fishes, you very well know what are fishes. Then at the top level, humans are kept. So this is the level of the pyramid of energy. Now here if you will see the amount of energy which is generated, it is written over here. At the very lowest level, 10,000 kilocalories energy they have. Then as it goes on a higher level, as it goes on the first trophic level here, so the energy becomes 1000 kilocalorie. As you can see, here was 10,000, now here it has become 1000. So you can see the difference. It is going on decreasing. Then as it moves forward, then it becomes 100 kilocalorie. It becomes 100 kilocalories. So again it get decreased. Then after that, at the very top level, it gets 10 kilocalorie. So here is the least amount of energy. As the energy goes on passing from one level to other level, the amount of energy also decreases. As the level increases, the level of the pyramid increases, the energy goes on decreasing. So this is the important point which you have to keep in your mind. Now so these level of energy, the exchange of energy, is called as pyramid of energy. Now as you have understood that energy goes on decreasing as the level increases, as the level of this pyramid increases, in the same manner the amount of organisms also keep on decreasing. The phytoplankton, the amount of phytoplanktons will be really high than of humans, because humans are at the top of this pyramid. Then somewhat less will be zooplanktons, then somewhat less will be fishes, then very less will be humans. Now if you imagine that there are lots of humans in our world, in our country, they are really in millions, you can say, and in the world you can imagine how many human beings will be there. Then little more, there will be fishes. There will be fishes in this entire world. Then again more in numbers will be zooplanktons. Then after zooplankton, some animals are included in zooplankton. After zooplanktons, phytoplanktons, which are some water animals, they will be really high in numbers. These organisms will be very high in numbers. So as the level increases, the energy also decrease, as well as the number of organisms also decrease. Here at the lowest level, number of organism is highest, and here the number of organism is lowest. So this is some points you have to keep in your mind. Now one more point here is given, that after how if we have kept in this trophic level, how these humans or omnivores, if we see how the energy from the omnivores is again then gained into plants, how they pass on the energy, or how this cycle goes on continuously, as we have already discussed also. In this food chain, we have seen that the energy goes on passing from here, from plants to these small animals, small animals or insect, then to frog, then snake, then eagle. Then from here, how they are again cycled into this cycle, how they come back, how the energy is passed on. You'll by looking at this figure, you'll say here the energy from these animals, from these top animals, how they are again passed to plants. So how they are passed, I have also explained you. After the death of these top or apex consumers, after they are dead, their dead body, you can see they might be they are not buried like buried or whatever like humans. So they might be lying somewhere on the land, in the forest or somewhere. So as they lie on the land, from the soil, the microorganisms, bacteria, fungus, all they start decomposing the dead body of the animals. Then after decomposition, during decomposition, what they do, they convert the complex structure. As you all know, the body of any organism is a really complex structure. So that complex structure is converted into simple carbon compounds. Then those simple carbon compounds get easily mixed with the soil, get mixed with the water, and get mixed with the air. So in the soil where the body will be there, the dead body will be there, in that soil the compounds, the carbon compounds get mixed. In the air also, they can get easily mixed. So if there is some water body near that dead animal or somewhere, so they also get mixed into the water. So from there, from the water, they absorb plants. So nearly the plants who are present, they will absorb that water in which the carbon compound is mixed, and also they absorb air, and also they absorb nutrients from the soil. So they'll get that compounds which is come from the dead animal. So in this way they get the energy of these animal back. So this is how the energy again, then these plant grows. This plant is the food for small animals, then frog, snake, then eagle. So this cycle goes on continuously. Just the amount of energy get decreased, but the energy comes back to the plant, and then this cycle is started. You might also have learned that energy is neither being created nor it can be destroyed. Energy can only be converted from one form to other form. Same rules apply here. Now as you can see in this entire food chain, the plants mainly get the energy from the sun. Sun is the important source of energy. Due to the sun, various natural phenomena happens. If sun will not be there, then our earth will not work. We can't live. Many of the processes are dependent on sun. Now as you know, sun gives the energy to the plants. So because of the sunlight, they can perform photosynthesis, and by performing photosynthesis they can prepare their own food. So this is the main source. So sun is the main source for the production of their food of the plants. If sun will not be there, then how plants will prepare their own food? So that's why sun is really important. But if you see, plants passes their energy to small animals like grasshopper or insect, then the energy of that energy is then passed to frogs, then snake, then eagle, then to the soil, land, water. But the energy is not passed to the sun. The sun does not get back any energy. Sun gives us sunlight, it gives us energy, but no energy is again passed to the sun. That's why sun is called as the one-way source, because it only gives us energy. In return, it does not get any energy. So this transfer of energy, this passage of energy is called as one-way transport. As you can see here, it is written here, it is one-way transport. In your exercise backside, in question answers, there is one question which is asked why the passage of energy is referred to as one-way transport. You have to answer this question. So why this is one-way transport? Because why it is said one way? Because we are only taking energy from sun, but we are not giving anything back in return. No energy is given back to sun, so that's why this is called as one-way transport. Keep this in mind. Hope you understood. Now next topic we'll cover in our next lecture. Thank you.